initially created.
Okay, so if you believe that's how it was initially created, wait, what makes you think that this specifically, what makes you think why it is the way that it is now?
I think the way it is now is ultimately the affairs that went on in heaven prior to creation, that we do not have knowledge of. The whole, you want to give titles of the falling of Lucifer and Satan and whatnot, whatever you want to call them. That ultimately would have been, I guess you could say, an evil that arose in heaven. That was like the story of an angel, one of God's angels, trying to create his own little, he tried to overthrow God, I think is the story. Ultimately, and that was like the initial separation, was Lucifer was thrown from hell.
Yeah, but he can't sin, so why would he get thrown from heaven if he never sinned?
So he was not a man. He was not a man. He was an angel.
Here, wait, can Satan do as much evil as he did if he was a human?
Can he do as much evil as he did if he were human?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
If Satan was human, could he do as much, could he cause as much suffering as he did?
Like if he were just like made into a human somehow?
Yeah, if God were, I mean, not if God, if Satan were made into a human rather than being made into an angel, could he do as much evil?
Well, I mean, I guess, but humans didn't exist.
He could do as much evil.
Well, I wouldn't say he could do as much evil.
So
but
if he couldn't do as much evil, well, then the issue would be is that God could have reduced suffering by making Satan a human rather than making Satan an angel.
Well, humans didn't exist yet.
Okay, again, the point would be is that God knows that humans would exist. So God, instead of making Satan as an angel, could rather make him as a human.
Right, but this is prior to creation. Creation hasn't happened.
Yeah, and God knows all of these things.
Right, so that wouldn't work because humans didn't.
So God can make Satan a human rather than making Satan an angel. I don't see how that doesn't work.
Like, okay, like creation didn't. There were no humans, and they didn't exist.
Yo, Joshy, thank you for the $15 on Cash App. Yo, can we get a W Joshy in the comment section? Thank you so much, Joshy. I appreciate that. W Joshy and Free Palestine. Thank you so much. I appreciate the subscription. Thank you so much. Go for it.
Yeah. I guess what I would say to that is just like creation hadn't existed yet, and like there was not a place to address the issue of like this one particular angel's like whatever, I don't really know what to call it, like attempted coup. But like his punishment was, he was exiled from like if you think about it like a country or something, like if God is the ruler or whatever, like everybody who is there, they want to be there. I mean, ultimately that is part of heaven, is like everybody in heaven wants to be there.
No. I was asking about Satan, right? So again,
yeah. I'm getting there. Sorry, I just ADHD. So like with. Sorry, I was reading one of the comments. Yeah, so like when God created the angel Lucifer, Satan, whatever you want to call him, like obviously that he was one of God's angels, one of his. I think there's some context that says it's like he may have been an archangel, which is like one of the more higher up angels. There's a whole hierarchy, super complicated. I don't even understand it, but it's not for me to understand right now.
Gear up fast, we're about to get evil.
So with Lucifer, him being an angel, creation not existing, and this like rebellion, I guess, of sorts, kind of going on, where he tried to like turn other angels against God and all those things.
Enemy soldier incoming.
He was the response was that being cast out. Because I guess like he was already like an angel. and mankind didn't exist yet. Earth didn't exist. Creation. There was.
Yeah, I don't see how this is a response.
Well, yeah, I kind of drew up.
Like, why doesn't God make
Prep
Satan
time's
human
over. Now you deployed to the
person
war
because
zone.
humans didn't exist yet? Well, he could have just made them when he made humans.
I guess you could say that,
Rip the
but that
dust off.
wasn't
We're
like,
up in 3 mics. Let's move.
that just wasn't it. Like,
Here we
ultimately.
are.
Yeah, so
Hey,
again,
shit, gave
Satan
the green light. We're deploying you
could
to the
only
front lines.
couldn't
You're up.
cause as much
Grab your
damage if he
chutes.
was an angel compared to-
Rules of engagement are simple. Weapons free on all threats.
I think since he was like a heavenly entity or being, that the idea of just making
Let's
him
roll.
human, I don't really know.
So
Like,
Satan caused less harm as an angel.
Battle
than he
Royale.
I
Keep clear of
don't
that gas.
really have
Get
to.
to the safe zone.
No, I don't. I think it's more of I'm not.
Stronghold
following
located.
his- that
Targets
it's-
are marked on your TAC map.
Again, God wants to create a world where God could have created a world where there's still human, but in this world, rather than saying he's an angel, he's a human, right? So he can do less suffering. He can create less suffering than if he was an angel. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, I got you. I guess then my response would be like, it's the same way that like I'm not an angel right now. That would be my response. Like, duh, almost.
Okay. I'm confused with your response there. Here, I'll ask you. As it relates to this, God make our bodies in such a way that
The principle of design for the universe.
It's the
and
gulag.
this is from a
And
scientific
you're gonna have to
standpoint.
fight to earn redeployment.
Like, it is ultimately scientifically concluded that there is a creator.
definitely not.
Yeah, kinda.
How so?
Like, there's specific instances of the way. Well, I guess you said like you would call everything just a coincidence. I guess based off earlier. But
Well, I don't know what came prior to the Big Bang.
I don't either, man. But like the okay, Big Bang.
And that's all they
Oh,
wrote.
yes. So
A
like
well-earned
like scientifically
redeployment,
and
soldier.
everything like that.
Stand by.
So I personally like look at like the different aspects of that.
Moving.
So it's like per second squared type thing. Like if sorry, I was reading some of the comments. So yeah. So gravity. Now I'm going to use this understanding. If the impact of gravity was even a smidge different, like
You're just talking about
life
the
would-
constants of the universe. If God's
Yes.
desires were just slightly, slightly different, well, then it would be the case that this world wouldn't exist, and rather a different one would.
not even like I guess you could say a different one could. I haven't thought about it that way.
Okay, so then God could have desired to create a world where there was Nickelodeon slime only, rather than humans. But God desired to create this world rather than that world.
Yeah, I guess so.
So in the same way that like it's unlikely under a naturalist worldview, wouldn't it be unlikely under your worldview, as God could have desired an infinite set of things?
An infinite set of things. Wait, hold on. I got slipped up.
God could desire. I appreciate the subscription. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. There's a difference here. So, not only is the natural world limited to what's physically possible, but it's also limited to what's logically possible. Whereas just God, he's only limited to what's logically possible. So there would have been a more vast array of different things that God could have created, rather than what could have happened under a natural worldview. So if anything, the probability, right, of us being created is lower under a God's worldview, as is the case that there was more possible things.
I think ultimately, like, creation was made with intent, though.
Okay, and?
Like, as opposed to, okay, yes, there are, like, an infinite possibilities, but
God
the
intended to create this rather than something else.
Absolutely. I believe that 100%. And, like, he I don't think he's deviated from his plan and intention. I think, like, because ultimately at the end of days,
You got a loadout
according
drop
to the
inbound.
Bible, like all does end exactly how people may question now. It does end with this perfect world.
Gas is closing
but
in.
we're just not there.
Relocating the safe zone.
And I guess that comes down to like the human aspects of like we very much demand things now and like want to see things happen in our lifetime. But like the world and everything operates on such a grander scale than that.
I'm kind of lost with what you mean about that. But is there anything else you'd like to go over or talk about specifically?
I guess not specifically. I just like I enjoy just discussions and stuff, you know. I guess a little of my testimony, like somewhere where I've like come with my own struggles with it is like, I mean, I'm bisexual, so I do experience like same-sex attraction, and like I struggle with that a lot, and like especially in
I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think that you should struggle.
You got gas moving in.
I don't think that's something that you should think that you have to struggle for, as that specifically, right? There's nothing wrong with that. That's just religiously and culturally influenced to think that it's wrong when it's not.
Yeah, and I think like I've kind of come into my own like understanding with it just because of all that. Like that's more of a personal thing, I guess. So I wasn't trying to like dive into all that, but like so like I'm definitely aware of like there's certain discussions that make me like question and wonder as well, you know. And like I won't like understand like why am I this way when like this says I'm not supposed to be or something, right? And like it's definitely a battle that I have, but like I try to be sympathetic with myself. But like I think that, and really it kind of ends up coming to like, okay, well, who you discuss it with, because I've discussed with like people within my community that believe that it is a sin, and there's people in the community who believe it's not a sin, and like you know, I guess that's more of like the love is love aspect of it and stuff. But ultimately, it's been a whole thing, but like I've come into a good understanding, and almost like although there's like I guess like I can't remember. There was something that you said earlier that was relevant. I'm not just like trying to remember right now. But it had to do with like the like intent and everything, I think. And like a lot of times I question why, you know, I have been designed this way, or why do I think this way, or whatever. And like, or why does my body function that way? Because it's not even always conscious. And like, I do think ultimately like there's intent, and part of it is like going back to the free will thing, and like ultimately like I think like we were created, yes, and I think the intention of creation was like for us to be worshiping God for sure, and like with that in mind, like if that's the intention of creation, and I happen to like
You got
deal
gas
with these
inbound.
things, then,
Safe
like,
zone relocated.
when it comes to free will, like I gotta, yeah, I do be disassociating. I do that a lot, Liz. But yeah, like it's almost like my own personal, like that's part of my own journey to like whether I choose to follow my will or what I believe to be God's will, I guess.
Stephanie, I appreciate the subscription. I'm kind of getting lost with what you're referencing there, and I think we're kind of getting like an M to an impasse. Is there like anything else you'd like to go over or talk about before we go into the next person?
No, man, don't let me hold the spotlight. I appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you coming on, man.
Peace out.
Thank you so much. Elusive said, "Are all Parkers this nice?" Yes, it just comes with being a Parker. You know, just that's what's stamped onto our foot. So real, so fucking real. Yo, what's up, how old are you?
I'm 36.
For sure, do you think?
Gas is inbound.
Yep.
Why so?
Because
Enemies dropping into the AO.
the Big Bang Theory doesn't make sense to me. But anyway,
The Big
I
Bang
see your
Theory is
point.
compatible with God.
what's that?
The Big Bang Theory is compatible with the Christian God.
No, that was thousands of years ago, and I mean, there's stuff that's in the Red Sea that got parted, like chariot wheels and stuff like that, that you can prove that God was there.
That does
Or
not
part of
prove
it.
that Moses was there at
That
all,
proves
right?
that
doesn't
it
mean
was parted. It was proved
no,
that it was
it
parted.
does not prove that it was parted, right? It very well could have sunk, right? Like I just don't see why that would have been indicated specifically that it was put there by like a god, right? By parting the sea.
Why would you why would you drive a chariot out in a river? You wouldn't do that.
You could just transport it.
Okay. Well, anyway, I was gonna say about I see your theory on why the devil could have been made human or whatever and made this world better. But the fact is that God didn't want slaves, he wanted servants. So he created humans to
Right, making Satan
what's that?
making Satan a human does not take away free will.
Right. I understand that, but he threw like he was already an angel. You can't make him a human.
No, before he was made an angel, he could have been made a human.
Well, maybe that's not. Maybe he had a bunch of angels and that's just the way it was.
So what you essentially have to say is that God making Satan an angel led to less harm. So angels have less power than humans do.
No.
Yeah, okay, well then,
Gas
then
is
you
moving
have the
in.
contract.
New safe zone located.
Because
God
God wants
created
to reduce suffering.
God created the heavens and the earth, and he had a deal of angels, and one went bad.
I don't know what
He's-
you're referencing. Because, like, again, the standards here are really clear, right? If it is the case that it leads towards more suffering unnecessarily, then God's going to be towards evil. All things evil, he would have created, or all things considered, he would have created some evil.
Yeah, maybe he didn't. I'm all messed up now. In my head, it made sense. Have an argument against it.
That makes sense. Like, I mean, I don't think that there is a way to account for this, because clearly, like, angels under your view have more power than humans.
Gas is closing
If they
in.
had more power, then they'd be more likely to be able to create more suffering. So then it would have been the case that, logically speaking, God should have made Satan a human. And since he didn't, well, that indicates to me that your God doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's a tough one to answer. Because in my mind, I was like, well, this makes sense. Like, if he already had an angel, then, and he threw him out of heaven, how's he gonna turn around and make him a human? Right?
He could have done it before, right? He's all-knowing.
Yeah.
All right, is there anything else you'd like to go over and talk about?
No.
Appreciate you coming up. Thank you so much, man.
Alright, see ya.
Let's go to the next individual. Only send a gas request if you think the Christian God exists, everyone. Let's get the next person up here, y'all. Only send a gas request if you think the Christian God exists, y'all. Tap that screen, everyone. We got another 30 minutes or so left on the live, everyone. 30 minutes max. Probably like 20 minutes, because that's when my girlfriend gets here. Maybe a little bit less, because I might want to get down there at the perfect time. But only send a guest request if you think the Christian God exists, y'all. We are just looking for some debates. Only send a guest request if you think that the Christian God exists, y'all. All right. Elon Musk just followed me.
We need
No
high
way.
caliber rounds.
W Elon Musk. So real, dude. Imagine. WW, dude. Let's get the next one here. For some reason, it's not accepting people, y'all. I do apologize. I'm trying to get someone up here, y'all. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Alright, let's get the next person. Only send a guest request if you think the Christian God exists, y'all. We are just looking for some debates. By the way, we got taken down twice today, everyone.
Gas
For
is closing in. Get to the new safe
with
zone.
Literally every topic other than the Trump topic, and sometimes this topic gets banned. So, I don't know what's going on with all those other topics. It's being really weird. If you want to help me out, everyone, you go check out the video that I just posted. We're at like 40K views.
Friendly
or something.
loadout
If we can
drops
keep
on the
getting it out
way.
to more people, I think that we might be able to like raise attention to this.
Only 25 remain.
Please do so if you would like to help out everyone. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
23.
For sure. Do you think that the Christian God exists?
Absolutely. I have a question for you, though.
Go for it.
What makes you think he doesn't?
There's plenty of reasons. But one, I can just run through a few problems here.
Gas is moving.
Noah's Ark.
All right, go ahead.
Do you believe in Noah's Ark?
Oh, of course.
Do you think it
It's
was
one of the
good-
most prominent stories in the Bible.
Do you think it was good for God to kill innocent babies?
Excuse me?
Do you think it was good for God to kill innocent babies?
Can you clarify?
Yeah, there were babies that existed that time period, right?
Yes.
He drowned everyone other than Noah's family.
Okay. And?
Therefore, he drowned babies.
Right. Now,
So
have
was
you
it
ever
good
heard of
for
the
God to
story
drown the
of
babies?
Sodom and Gomorrah?
Yeah.
Now, Sodom and Gomorrah, essentially, he put a salt bomb on the whole city because the whole city was sinful. And Lot's family and his wife, right? His wife turned around and said, well, I kind of want to go. That's what was going on in her head. So therefore, she died. Now, with that said,
Less than
Can I
25.
tell
We're
you
still
one
standing.
thing?
The enemy took that one, but we'll
when
get him
God
back.
wants to destroy evil, some people go with it because evil is in people.
So those babies were evil?
I can't say they are inherently evil because most children are very innocent until they are touched by this terrible life we live. They're inherently innocent, right? So the way God does things is to preface a story, to preface a tale in which history makes itself, for which everything presents. So I remember like 30 or 40 minutes ago, you were talking about why'd the Holocaust exist? And simply, you know, this is kind of delving off, but I'll get back to that. God doesn't simply destroy babies. He does what he needs to do to make the earth, you know, I don't know how to explain. So in the sense where babies get destroyed, he makes a story. And you know what? God always reaches out a helping hand. Just like that story of when he sent that gentleman who was drowning in a flood, the canoe. You know, he's like, please, God, give me a sign. I'm drowning. He sent a log and he's like, no, God will send me someone. He'll send me a boat. He sent all these things to save this man, and the man still chose not to, you know, do that. So with that said, I don't think you saying he's killing babies, he's not inherently murdering babies. You know what I mean? Like, it's not.
He definitely is
like that.
drowning babies. Like there were babies at the time. He drowned everyone other than Noah's family. Therefore, he drowned babies. That just follows, like logically.
And do you know why he did it?
Well, you believe that there's an overflowing of sin, right? But do you think the babies caused that sin?
It's not about the babies causing. Why did
it
he
is.
drown? Why did he only have Noah on the ark?
Appreciate the subscription. Thank you so much. You believe that they were Nephilim.
Okay.
They weren't
So there you go.
purely
You answered
human.
my question.
Yeah, but does that mean that they should be killed?
You know what? It really depends on what you take. I don't personally think anybody should be killed, no matter what walk of life they are. So it's kind of one of those questions where you really have to delve into the Bible and you really have to investigate as to why that is and why that happened, because there is an answer. And you know what? It's kind of the same. It's kind of the same topic of why did God send his son to die? And it wasn't sewer slide, how you say it.
It was.
It wasn't.
What can you define?
You know why?
suicide?
You know why? Is because Jesus said to. He
Check
said
your
to
gear and
God-
weapons.
he said
We'll
to
be
God,
deploying
he said to
shortly.
himself, I don't want to die. He didn't want to die. He was getting murdered by people. He
Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
He didn't kill himself. He had no choice in the matter. He was gonna die either way you cut it. It wasn't suicide.
Oh, again, he could have chose otherwise. He could have chose not to do that because he is God, right?
He obeys God. And that
So
is
he's
one
not
of
God.
the biggest rules in the Bible is
so
to
he's
obey
not God.
the living God. Jesus is the living God.
All
Jesus is
stations,
God.
Shadow
Said
01. Deployment to the war
Emily,
zone
I
has been
understand your
authorized.
view of this, okay? Right, as it relates to this, right,
Rep
you
for
believe Jesus
dust
is
off.
God.
We're up in 3
So
mics.
again,
Let's
They
move.
didn't engage it because he's
I'll tell you what.
Gangs all
There's
here.
God and there's Jesus. Jesus
Word
is
came
definitely
down. We are
engaged in
green to
self-
go. So gear up, grab your shoots. We're going to the
He
war
intentionally
zone.
engaged in action
Rules of
that led
engagement
to
are
self-
simple. Weapons free on all threats.
He didn't self-delete. He was nervous and he thought, I guess you could sit
Let's
and
roll.
say,
Tell me
like
what
in
the
the comic-
definition of self-delete is.
I'm sorry?
Can you tell me what the definition of self-delete
Battle
is?
Royale.
Wanting to check out. My aunt self-deleted, not even 4 weeks ago. It's wanting to check out. No one does it but yourself.
You've
Wanting
got
to
gas
check
closing
out,
in
like,
fast.
I would have
Unass
to know,
yourself
like,
to the
the
safe
definitions
zone.
of what you're referencing.
So,
Is that you engage in action knowing that it's going to lead to this?
say your depression brings you to a point where you don't want to be here anymore. You say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to check it out. Jesus wanted to be here. He wanted to serve him. He wanted to live. But he had a purpose.
Moving to my mark.
fulfill. That's what the Bible is.
So did kamikaze fighters, did they engage in suicide?
Closer at clock.
Can you clarify? I'm not sure what you're talking about.
So like the people who like would drive like planes into things.
Yes, they're not Jesus. If they commit suicide, that's their
But
fault.
that was for a greater good, wasn't it? That was for their country. That was a
Bounty
sacrifice.
targets are up. Get after 'em.
Okay.
So in the
Yeah.
same way that you say that it wasn't self-unaliving because for Jesus because it was a sacrifice,
Moving.
well then this would be self-unaliving.
Okay, so
Moving to my
what you're
mark.
trying to say is kamikaze pilots
You're
are
losing
the same
ground.
in
Move
Jesus
it.
where their country asked them to do that. Sacrifice, in gas suicide, whatever you want to call it.
Your
What
squad made
is
it to
your
the safe
relation? I
zone.
want you to define both of those for me.
Like suicide?
Suicide and sacrifice. What is the main difference?
Yeah, so
Moving.
suicide could
Scratch
indicate a
that.
sacrifice, but not all suicides are for a sacrifice.
So,
Sacrifice being
would
that you're
you
giving up
agree-
something for another thing, like likely a greater good, right? And you're perceived in your head, right? And then the other one would be in terms of suicide. That's going to be you intentfully engage in action, knowing that it's going to yourself, like
Okay, so would you agree that sacrifice is more or less heroic?
it could be.
It could be. So when somebody says, I'm going to go sacrifice myself for my country, would you agree that's heroic?
Not necessarily. If their country's Nazi Germany, are they
Moving to
not?
my mark.
Well, that depends how you put it. Maybe Nazi Germans and Hitler thought it was heroic at the time, but we don't because we know better than that.
Yeah, so we don't think it's heroic. Yet they consider it a sacrifice.
Yes, so what I'm saying is God sacrificed his son. He didn't have a choice in the matter. It wasn't suicide. It was, I'm walking into this and I'm being led into this because I have
Can you define
no other
suicide for me?
choice. I told you, it's literally the will to check out, wanting to leave this earth. Your decision.
Well,
not
he
somebody else's.
wanted to do it, and that's why he ended up engaging
God-
in circumstances that led to the crucifixion. Because again, he's an all-knowing being. He engaged in
Jesus
things
didn't want to.
particularly, right, for this to
Jesus
occur.
did not want to
He
die.
did want to, then he made a mistake.
Moving here.
No, Jesus doesn't make mistakes.
Okay, well then he wanted to.
He didn't want to.
Then
He
made a
wanted
By an
mistake.
enemy
He made a
squad.
mistake.
Invade and
He wanted to
survive.
walk this earth and he wanted to
Brett, I
preach
appreciate this.
God's word. He wanted to tell everybody how to be eternally safe. And then God said,
Watch out.
you know, this is what you have to do. This is what you're going to do. You don't have a choice in the matter. And this is what's going to happen. And he said, God, why
He's
did
the
you
God. He is God. You believe he's God, right?
Jesus is the living God. So there's God, who is the creator
Hey,
of
I know
everything,
money doesn't
and then
grow
there's
on
God's son,
trees,
Jesus.
but it is covering the ground. solid try. Time to head back to base.
Parker,
Those are
you're
the conditions that I
manipulating me
have.
now.
How am I
He is a part
manipulating
of
you?
God.
Emily,
what do
how
you
am I
wanna call it?
manipulating you? Be so fucking for real.
You're not liking this because you are manipulating me into trying to think something.
How am I
just want to,
manipulating
no,
you?
God and Jesus
Emily, can you answer
are
the
not
question?
the same thing. I'm telling you how you're manipulating me. God and Jesus are not the same thing, Parker.
So
They
again,
are
you
the
were
sense
you were
and they're
saying they
both
are the same.
gods.
That's what you were saying.
What?
You were saying they were both God. I thought when you
You
said
were
that they're
telling
both
me,
God,
would
they're
you
both the
consider
same.
Jesus God? Because Jesus is the living God. He is a part of God. So yes, he is therefore inherently like God. It's like, hey, are you your mother's daughter? Yes, I am. So would you say you are your mother? I'm like, definitely. Like, do you understand what I'm saying here?
No. So again, if you're saying mother's daughter, right? You're saying Jesus is the Son of God. Okay. Well, if he's the Son of God and he's not God, well, then it is the case that am I the child? Am I a child of God?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm a son of God. So what's
Right.
different between me and Jesus? Because we're both children of God.
Yes,
We're
I've
both the
told you
Son
this
of God.
before. Jesus had a very big purpose. He was born 2,000 and some years ago before you existed. He was born of a virgin mother. He had powers that God sent him, and he had abilities and ways. And you are quite different in every way because we are just
Why
ordinary
did Jesus get crucified?
for our sins.
No. Why did he get crucified? Like, why did the Romans crucify him?
Because they hated him. They wanted
Why?
him dead.
Why did they hate him?
Why
Why'd
did
they
they?
hate him?
You know the answer to this question. You tell me.
Is it because he claimed to be God?
No, it's because they think he was claiming to be God.
Gear up fast.
So,
We're about to
if he
get
claims
evil.
to be God, well then wouldn't that be that he is God, right?
He was never claiming to be God. The Roman Catholics
Okay, so then why
clearly
did
said,
why did he get crucified?
they're like, who is this man? Who is this man walking
Then
around?
why did he
claiming
get
to be-"
crucified?
Because they thought
Enemies are dropping into the
he got
area. Watch the
crucified
skies.
because they didn't want that.
Well,
The
what?
king didn't want someone more powerful than him. They thought he was crazy walking around. He was doing God's deeds, doing miracles and everything else, and everybody hated that he had followers. He got murdered on that basis.
They
And then,
murdered
you know
people-
what?
so he got crucified because he did miracles.
Yes.
Enemy
If you
soldier
read the Bible,
incoming.
you'll understand.
Can you give me anywhere in the Bible it says that?
Yes, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. It's
Prep
all the
time's
stories.
over.
Tell
Now
me
you
the
deploy to the
particular
war
verse.
zone.
Let me see. You want me to open my Bible?
Sure.
Okay.
Prep for dust off. We're
Since
up
you're gonna
in
make me
3
search
lights.
with your
Let's
girlfriend coming
move.
over in 5 minutes and all.
Here we are.
We got about 8 minutes.
Head shed gave the green
Okay.
light. We're deploying you to the front
Let me
lines.
two halves in a little second
You're
here.
up. Grab your chutes.
I have a question
Enemy
for you,
activity
though.
will be high. Expect contact
So-
early and often.
When you were 17 and you went to church and everything else,
I'll see you on the other
what
side.
was the moment where the switch flipped?
Battle Royale.
I don't think there was like a switch flip. I just think that there was like a gradual. Oh, this isn't really
Keep clear of that gas. Get to the safe zone. Enemies dropping into the AO.
So, would you say, if you live your whole life, would you prefer to live it the way you do, and then kind of gamble on the fact that there may be a hell and it may be a terribly scary place? Because I know you studied
Yep.
this, you know
Yep.
how it is.
Yep.
So you'd prefer to gamble that than
Oh yeah.
it causes your,
Yeah. Like I mean, I do it with every other religion. Are you scared of the hell from Islam?
sorry?
Are you scared of the hell from Islam? You're gambling that.
Yeah, so that's kind of what happens when you choose religion and when you choose atheism. And that's kind of what happens when you stick with it. But here I am saying you know, a lot of religions, not that I've dived into them to study them, but I did go to a Catholic school, which
You got
I had a
gas
world
moving in.
religions class. And in that, there's a lot of kind of different versions of a heaven and hell, and it's more or less an afterlife, nonetheless. And I kind of want to know your perspective on afterlife.
I don't know there's anything.
So,
I
you
just
die.
I don't know.
Are you
don't know
thinking
what
of just eternal darkness?
I have no clue what happens.
It's safe to assume nobody knows what happens, and that's why there's faith and belief. And that's why we hold on to something.
So nobody knows what happens. Faith. Okay. Well, I have faith that it's going to be heaven for atheists and hell for Christians and Muslims.
Okay, and what do you base that off of?
My belief in the Bible.
Okay. So what in the Bible made you think that?
No, in the Bible.
Oh, the Bible. Okay, what in the Bible made you think that?
Path you park puke in pond.
I think that you... Can I just kind of word vomit a little?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, not that anybody asked, but for me to gain my faith, it took a big turn because I grew up with faith in a God, of which was mostly leaning towards the Christian God. And then with that said, as I grew up and as I got older, I ran into situations of which I could not find a way out of. So I guess putting it into I got massive panic disorder, which my doctors had very hard time prescribing meds for, and this was, quite frankly, born in a house that was previously full of evil. With that said, after time of praying and leaving that home, now believing in the paranormal, you know, straight through and through, I had no longer had panic attacks. I got off medication within 1 month, and I am completely fine to this day. And there's no explanation to that aside from the fact I stuck to faith and I asked to God.
Well, just
And
because there's
that's
no
what
explanation
faith
doesn't mean that
is.
it's God. That's God of the gaps fallacy. The same way
No,
that
I
when
was
we
just
didn't
saying,
have
Parker.
we didn't have an explanation for like the lightning, that doesn't mean it was Zeus.
No, I'm just saying, as I was saying, that's the faith I have. When you sit and you receive
got a loadout
and
drop
you are
inbound.
open to it, and you say, wow, there's no other explanation aside from the fact that I did pray about it and I did ask and it was answered.
Gas is closing in. Relocating the safe zone.
Again, right, it's something that you think and that you attribute to that. There are plenty of people that like pray and then something good happens or something bad happens after. That doesn't mean that this particular praying caused that event. It just means that they're associated.
Yeah, so
So how do you know that your prayer caused this?
because there's absolutely no other route. Even the doctors told me there's no
There's
other
no other
route.
explanation. Just because there's no other explanation
That's just
that you
it.
can
That's science,
identify.
isn't it?
Just because there's no other explanation that you can identify doesn't mean it's God. The same way that, like, again, the waves weren't explained by Poseidon just because you didn't have an explanation. The lightning wasn't explained by Zeus just because you didn't have an explanation.
Right. That's why it's called mythology.
Yeah, but couldn't I just consider this mythology as well?
Yeah, you could.
How is this different than Greek mythology?
You know, I'm touching too on what somebody said.
You're
The level
losing
of
ground.
gravity is so
Move it.
perfect for the conditions of this earth, among other things, among the universe, and how we haven't found anything else inhabited by humans, and how a book, it's among itself.
And also, did you know the Greeks didn't see it as mythology?
I'm sorry.
Did you know the Greeks didn't see it as mythology?
The Greek, what?
The Greeks didn't see it as mythology.
Well, where'd the term mythology come from then?
Well, I have no clue. I'd have to look at the etymology of that word.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything else you want to go over or talk about before I get off?
Do you think you'll ever come to God in your time?
If it's the truth.
Now, how would you ever find out if it's true? You have to have it proven to you.
Reason. And if I can't come to it through reason, well then no, it's not gonna happen.
Do you think that having to have reason would be considered small-minded because you don't have belief something else could exist?
I'm not saying that I can't believe that anything else could exist. Things could exist, I just don't think it's your God. Because there's really good reason to believe it's not. Like your view, you essentially have to believe that like human suffering is good.
Human suffering is free will, and there is another ticker at play, which is called Satan.
Yeah, and again, God caused Satan to be in a state where he could engage in this particular behavior. God granted him this power. He could have just been a human, or he didn't have this power to do all this, our causal. By God making him an angel.
Yeah, but does it say in the Bible that God knew he was going to defy him?
Yeah.
Where?
Well, he's all-knowing. He's all-knowing, so granted, given that he's all-knowing, he would know that.
Okay.
I do have to go now because my girlfriend just got here. Is there anything else you want to say before I get off?
I'll pray for you.
For sure. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Take care. All right, everyone, we're gonna get off for tonight. I do appreciate everyone who did come up, onto the live. Tomorrow I should be on at 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and tomorrow I should be on for a while. If you want to support me, as always, Venmo and Cash App is in the bio. Cody, thank you for the subscription. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Cody. So you can do that if you would like to. Should we raid Danny or Dean and Tashika, everyone? Danny or Dean and Tashika?
Gas is closing in. Get to the new safe zone.
I'm seeing a lot of Danny's, a lot of Dean and Tashikas. I'm seeing more Dean and Tashikas. Okay. We're going to get Danny next time. We're seeing a lot of Dean and Tashikas. Okay, so we're going to send everyone over to Dean and Tashikas live right now. Everyone go to It's Dean, 2 A's, 2 N's. Spam Parker Raid, spam love from Parker, everyone. Look up It's Dean, spam Parker Raid, spam love from Parker, everyone. Again, everyone, look up It's Dean, with 2 A's.
No. Sir.
Right?
Hey, no.
Not for them.
Right, for society, because we hate ills of society, like our the raping and murdering and all of that. We hate that stuff, and so we lock people up that do that kind of stuff. That's our solution. That's our solution to the problem. But it looks like, I don't know, God doesn't know how to put people in a box. Like,
Gas is moving.
why not do that?
Why not put everybody who's going to do bad things inside of a box, say don't do bad things?
That's what we do.
Yeah, I don't think our solution is a good solution.
Letting them run amok.
I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with the prison industrial complex. It's not. It doesn't do anything for it. Well, the only thing it does for society is train people or I guess limit people for a limited amount of time. When they come out, they then go back into doing it. So it doesn't really do anything for society.
I understand there are big problems with the prison system, but I'm talking about the obvious cases of people that are raping others, people that are murdering others. Do you think those people should be put in a box and not let out?
So I think those people should be put in the box and not let out. I think they should be put in the box.
Okay, the point is that I want to prevent people from doing that kind of stuff. And I can either life or put them in a box.
Or you can chemically castrate them.
People can still sexually abuse others and be castrated.
That's true. That's true. Isn't there like pills that you can have that would not allow you to
Be advised, there's an enemy squad gunning for you.
I guess that would I don't know how to say this on live.
You have a myopic understanding that the way sex encompasses acts other than penetration. Right. Okay. They can. You know,
I know that, but I'm saying like,
Okay.
isn't there like, I understand that, but I'm saying like, isn't there pills that people can take that
Yeah,
will
but that's beside the point, right? But look, all I'm
take
saying is
away?
that people that want to hurt others, we
Yeah.
want to stop them, right? We want to take away part of their free will, as you're saying, and that's a good thing. Now, God doesn't want people to harm others, does he?
No.
Okay, so why didn't we go with the solution that we're going for? That we stop them.
Because that still
You got
requires
gas
him
inbound.
being,
Safe zone
limiting people's
relocated.
free will, and he doesn't do that.
But you don't have a problem with that. You may agree that we stop people from, like, it's good to stop people from harming other people.
Yeah.
And the very notion of stopping means that you're preventing them from exercising their will.
Oh yeah.
So, and God has done this in the past. I don't know if you're a Christian or not, but hasn't he stopped people from harming others?
Yeah. No, he has.
Okay, so he doesn't have a problem with taking a portion of people's free will.
Yeah, he doesn't have portion of he doesn't do it consistently. Yes, I'm guessing the question is why doesn't he do that?
Why doesn't he, if he hates people hurting his good people or innocents?
Why doesn't he take away their free will and just put them in boxes?
Gas is closing in.
For the people that want to harm
Enemy
others,
soldier
why doesn't he
incoming.
stop them if it's good to stop them?
Contract failed.
Okay.
This ain't
Okay,
training
that's
camp.
actually an interesting question.
It's the gulag, and you're gonna have to fight to earn
That's a
redeployment.
really interesting question. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, why doesn't he take away people's free will if they're going to harm others? I think that everybody in some way or form harms others, but the people who are really gonna harm other people, why doesn't he just stop them ahead of time? And
If it's good to stop them, right? That's the important thing. Right? The point is that I think it's good to stop an adult from abusing a child.
No.
I would think that a good God would agree with me. Now I could be wrong, and then in which case I don't know what you mean by good, or an evil God. In which case that solves the problem. But the point is, if God believes that it's good to stop people from hurting others in these situations, then why doesn't he?
Give it a solid try. Time to head back to base. Failure ain't fatal.
Yeah, but if you stopped everybody who's gonna hurt people before they hurt people, then they never actually make a choice to hurt people.
Yeah, that's a good thing, though, right? It's good that people don't hurt other people, innocents.
But then they don't have choice.
Why would you think that?
Because then they can only let's put it this way, right? Let's say that everybody had a collar on their necks, right?
Okay.
In society, right? And every single time they're about to do something bad, they just got shocked all the time, right? Well, then they wouldn't have the will or the ability to do anything that's bad. They would just have the will to do only good things, even though their nature is against that. Then that would take away the prospect of will. The prospect of will is to be able to make choices regardless of the outcome, and he allows us to make choices.
What would you say if God decided to put a shock collar on any child abusers so in a way where if they try to abuse a child, it shocks them and prevents them? Do you think that would be a good or bad thing?
I would think that would be a nice thing. I would love it.
Okay.
But I think that would still violate the principle of free will that he's trying to afford to many people.
Look, we've already been over this though, right? Number one, it's good to stop people from hurting others.
Good. Yeah, it's good for people. Yeah, it's good to stop people from doing things, but it does take away from free will, which is what he's trying not to do.
Which one's better? Which one's better? Taking away a little bit of free will to preserve the innocent children's well-being, or taking away the freedom with the shock collar for anyone that would intend to harm a child.
Which one is better? I would prefer not to harm people. I'd prefer people not to be harmed.
Does God have that preference?
God prefer people not to be harmed. Yeah, but he's not going to intervene. I would.
So,
yeah.
Y'all have the same values.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I don't hold you responsible because you don't have that ability to
Yeah,
to
no,
actually.
Yeah, no. So like, if I had the ability to interfere with people doing good or evil, right? I would say that I would want to, because I can't like physically see someone doing something bad and not want to interfere. That's just me physically, right? Now, and again, I do understand that goes against like his own principles, and so I can't really like say anything about that. But I understand. Yeah, it would be.
And so that's the whole point. That's the whole problem is that either you're wrong in thinking that it's wrong, right? Either you're wrong about what you just said and your preferences to prevent harm coming to children, or you're right and God doesn't carry that preference, or he doesn't fulfill his own commitment to prevent it.
Well, his commitment isn't to prevent harm. It says his will is for people not to be harmed. Not his commitment is to prevent harm. He lets people do what is.
A will is a type of commitment.
A will is a type of commitment. How so?
When you will something, you desire for it to be that way, and that's some kind of disposition to bring about that state of affair. But look, I mean, even if I'm wrong about that, this is how I'm seeing it. Okay,
Yeah.
You have a child abuser, and you have the child. Okay, now the child abuser is about to abuse the child, and God prevents it. Would that be a good thing or a bad thing?
If God prevents it, I would say that would be a good thing. Yeah.
Okay, and then you have different scenario, except same child abuser and child. The child abuser abuses the child, but God allows it. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a bad thing that